how stunned are you by the way it all went down with Philly?
I think the whole last month and a half is stunning, but this particular game wasn't shocking given the whole month and a half. Yeah, so like you just don't see that. And I think we had jokes earlier in the season when the Eagles were like 10-1 and it's all one-score games. I like joked with Bill Barnwell, who often points out like how point differential matters. I had joked like, you ain't talking about them like you did Minnesota last year because they different. They wasn't. Like, they was tricking us with point differential. That shit catches up to you eventually. You don't, like, winning all these one-score games is not evidence that you're a good team or that you're extra clutch.
Great.
No, you got lucky and you pulled off these one-score games.
And didn't Vita Vea decide by himself that this booty push was not going to happen?
Yeah, Travis or Jason Kelce. Yeah, go ahead and enjoy.
Let me tell you, if I'm Jason Kelce, long day at the office against Vita Vea and make me decide I don't want to do this no more either. Like, I'm assuming that he had made that decision going into it, but if it was me, I could have been 25 years old. A day at the office against Vita Vea might be the last one. I'm turning in my key card.
It's not a fair matchup. Like, you better pull and get to the edge. I can outrun him to the edge. Like, that's to me is the point. It's like if you have a basketball player who's 6'7" and you 6'5", like, hey, maybe we don't go into the paint. Let me work on my mid-range. Let me take them out on the perimeter. That's what it's like for Vita Vea is built for that. Like, Vita Vea, they don't make those in the NFL anymore. Guys like that, because most people can't move the way that he can move.
That's what I was about to say. When they did make them, they couldn't do what this dude was playing running back in high school, right? Like, when they did make those 350-pound defensive tackles, they were Gilbert Brown, right? Ted Washington, Sam Adams, Siragusa, those sorts of dudes. Man, that Dexter Lawrence, Vita Vea class at 350 it's Jordan Davis.
Yeah. There are not many of them in the league. There are not many of them in the league because they don't exist. And so, like, if we had a league like we had before, Jason Kelce is not a Pro Bowler. Jason Kelce may not even be in the league. He better figure out how to play tight end like his brother, because it was a different game. Like, it was an entirely different game. But we moved to a different type of game where his athleticism and his size wasn't as much of a hindrance. And I'm joking. He probably still get in the league somehow, but he ain't the guy that he is now. If every week he got to find a way to go up against Vita Vea, y'all better block down and pull me. Yeah, better block down and pull.
Well, let me ask this about Philly, because Nick has raised this question. I feel like I'm citing Nick so much, but I think he made some good points about this. And I do think that Jalen Hurts got paid when somebody like him would get paid, right? It was after year 3 on a 4-year contract. They'd just been to the Super Bowl. He'd just been the starter in the Pro Bowl, all of this stuff. They gave him his money. Did they buy high, right? Like, did they... How good, because he's been hurt much of this year, but I was long a Jalen Hurts skeptic and had to give him all the credit for the way that he played, particularly in the Super Bowl. But I don't mean I was wrong.
Yeah.
Like, how do we know how good he is?
We don't. We know how good he can be, because that game in the Super Bowl was incredible. I think he's like, there are a lot of quarterbacks or a lot of players, I think, that in the right system, with the right coaches, with the right surrounding them, they can be good. Not many of them can be great. He can be great. So, like, the fact that ceiling is there is worth it. The thing about having this conversation, and like, I understand we have these conversations a lot about the type of quarterbacks we can pay and we should pay. And my cousin brings this up to me sometimes, because my dad used to say, when people get upset about gas prices, he gets mad. He would always say this: I don't care. Don't tell me how much the gas costs. I got to buy the goddamn shit anyway. And that's how I feel when we talk about these quarterbacks. Stop complaining about it, man. You want to win, you need a quarterback. This what the price is. You pay it. And the point I've been trying is hard to shift the conversation away from, does he deserve this much money, to now it's time for the front office to do their job.
Right. Well, that's where I'm at. I'm less on a did he deserve it than this is the quarterback you got at this price, now what?
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, the way that you have success, and like I point to the Broncos sometimes when they won with Peyton Manning. They paying Peyton Manning astronomical prices to not be good, to be mediocre at best. And you know what? They drafted Von Miller. They had somebody on the deal that was great and it was cheap. So y'all, once you get the quarterback, the hardest thing to find, you better keep paying him. You bet. Like I had this, and Orlovsky's a funny guy, but the day after the Cowboys, he talking about, I always say don't pay good players great player money, and like presenting the idea that maybe they should move on from Dak. That's nonsense.
I heard him try to talk that. That's the craziest. I could not believe people are out here like, you go move on from Dak and cross your fingers and hope like hell you get somebody half as good.
That's spoken like someone who does not have a vested interest in this team having success or does not care. Like, you would never do that if you actually gave a damn, if you know anything about football. And so, like, and Dan knows a lot about football. Maybe he just was heat of the moment feeling spicy. But my point to him and to anyone else, and the Cowboys have done a decent job of it, you have gotten the quarterback. The quarterback gets what the quarterback gets. Now it's time for everybody else to earn their money. Build a team. Build a team.
Well, I mean, I know what the first thing Howie Roseman is going to do, getting ready for that draft, he's going to pull up that computer, he's going to pull up Google, and he's going to put in Georgia football roster search. And he's going to sort that thing by year, and he's going to send somebody out to look at every single player that Georgia got. Again, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the man came to the podium and you heard him say, and with the last pick in the 7th round, the Philadelphia Eagles select Garrison Hurst, running back, University of Georgia. They'll go get Tim Worley.
That wasn't a running back.
They'll get them Strouds.
I'm just waiting.
They'll go get anybody.
Oh, you didn't get to the Georgia running back that I wanted him to draft.
Which one?
Herschel.
Oh, yes, right. We got Herschel. Prize Picks is the most fun you can have by winning up to 25 times your money this football season, and now you can play during basketball season too. You just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. Prize Picks is really simple to play. You can make your picks and submit your entry in less than 60 seconds. So make sure you go to prizepicks.com/Bomani and use code Bomani for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/Bomani. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.